This is also formatted in other ways. This is the one that I could find that popped up when I was doing my research. Subject. Again, this is from the Epstein files. Email correspondence sent between him and others. Snipe hunt is over. Moon crickets in field bags. Guess what? They're niggers. So the moon crickets that are in the field bags are niggers. Now, this may not make sense, but when I break this down to you, you can be like, oh, because people are talking about this. But I haven't seen anybody actually break it down so you can understand what's going on. Okay, so let's get it. The first thing we must do is define, okay, what is a snipe hunt? Just to be fair. So a snipe hunt refers to two distinct activities. A real challenging form of wing shooting for small migratory shorebirds found in wet marshy habitats, or a common practical joke played on newcomers where they are sent into the woods at night with a sack to catch a non-existent creature. We have to be fair. Now, when they are talking about a snipe hunt, are they talking about an actual hunt, or are they talking about a common practical joke? No, because somebody say, well, they're talking, this is a joke. They're joking. It's a practical joke that they played. Okay. So the next thing we must do is we must define what moon crickets are. Because they're saying that they're niggers. Is that true? Okay. Because I never heard of the term moon cricket. This is my first time hearing of moon crickets. But when I looked it up, I said, oh, moon cricket is an extremely offensive, derogatory, and racist slur used against black people, niggers. Primarily in the United States, it is considered a harmful term that draws on historical racism and stereotypes. Are you seeing a pattern? This is why I want to build the case up with the other stuff. So when we got to this, there's no denying what's really going on. So we see that it is a racial slur. Now, what I found very, very interesting and fascinating is this. The exact origin is unclear, but it is often associated with the southeastern United States. One theory suggests it may have originated from a racist misinterpretation of slaves singing at night. Now, if you know your history, you know why we were singing at night. Who were we singing to? We were singing to the Lord. Kumbaya, these different things. We were singing for the Lord to come save us. From Moon plus Cricket, perhaps a reference to slaves singing songs during the night. A black person. But when we see this email exchange, the snipe hunt is over. What are they doing? They are hunting moon crickets. They are hunting niggers. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. It said the moon crickets and niggers are in the field bag. Ask the right question, get the right answers. What's a field bag when it comes to hunting? This right here, a field bag for carrying deer typically refers to a durable, breathable game bag designed to hold quartered meat or a heavy-duty meat hauling backpack used to transport field-dressed, caped, or quartered deer out of the field. These bags keep meat clean, cool, and protected from insects during transport.
Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Really, 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 really do it.
They said did he did it. Yeah, they said did he did it. But I seen it with my own eyes, they all did. Fake friends turn snake when the light hit they scales.
Yeah.
Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Really, 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 really do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Really, 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 really do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Really, 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 really do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Really, 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 from the block. used to ride for free, now we talking like a stranger when he mentioned me. Sold out the cool for a blue check flash. Switch codes like a hoe with a high fashion clash. Another one flip when the money came in. Try to take credit for the places I've been. Used to dap up tight, now we throwing me shade. But I'm the one who grew the tree, so who really betrayed? So who really betrayed? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it?
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Stand Focused for Jesus. Hope each and every one of you are having a blessed day in the Lord Jesus Christ. As always, today is Saturday, February 21st, 2026. Saturday, February 21st, 2026. The time is currently 12:02 p.m. You already know why you're here. You see the title of the video. Were they actually hunting black folks? Yes. I'm going to go into more detail proving it, because some of you seen the video, some of you have not heard of this, about how Epstein and many other people, they documented their hunts of, we're going to use a light term right now, of Negroes. But like I said, I'm going to go a little bit deeper with it. I'm going to bring up some other stuff. So make sure you stay tuned. We're not going to get to basically the main attraction yet. I want to look at some other things to build a case. And I believe by building this case, it makes it stronger. I'm going to bring up some things that I haven't seen anybody else talk about, which ties into some things that we have prophesied in regards to genetic manipulation, DNA manipulation, and that being used against black folks primarily. So if you don't know, you can go in here to the U.S. Department of Justice site. You can go look at the Epstein library. You can type in words. It's not the best search function. I literally had to type in one word and go through every single document because the search function is trash. We're going to put it like that. It's trash. I believe they're probably doing it like that on purpose. There was one thing I was looking for that they were responding to in regards to something that Mitt Romney said back in the day, and now I can't find it. It's buried. I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, we got that. Let's go over here. This is a conversation with Peggy Segal. This is from her to him. Arrived this evening. I had a commercial flight at 8 a.m. The good news, I got a ride to St. Martin from Abby Rosen on his plane. Now, before I do that, I want to go back real fast because I want y'all to realize something. So where was Epstein's private island? Caribbean Sea, in the Caribbean Sea within the United States, Virgin Islands. Virgin Islands, huh? You mean like predominantly black folks? I'm just saying. The secret island is in the Virgin Islands, which is over there with predominantly black folk. You know, Caribbean islands, as we say. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Going back here, she's having this conversation, telling him these different things that happened. You can pause and read it. I'm not going to read all of it. And then, but if you go down here, then we had an hour ground delay due to weather. And now we have noticed the G5 is smaller than Abby's WB375 with no cappuccino maker and only one video screen for my bag of the Academy film. So terrible. It has no cappuccino maker on here. And now, exhausted from going nowhere, I'm about to show Django to 5-year-olds because Samantha doesn't know they yell. You see the word there? We ain't going to say it right now, but we'll say it later. 4,000 times and beat the blacks endlessly. You can see the ground party was wearing thin. Interesting language. Again, you can pause it and read it and get the context of it. I just want you to see that because we're going to build it up in regards to how they talk among each other. I'm not saying that other people don't do this, but we're dealing with the Epstein files, right? We got that. This is a conversation. This is from him to his, I think it was his last girlfriend. He says, I love you, and goes on. We jump down. He's talking about accounting for the food. He needs the receipts. The food that wasn't eaten needs to be taken away. All of this with zero benefit for me. So obviously he's complaining about it a little bit. The only food I ate was the yogurt I brought from Paris and the tuna and egg salad that Anna made without any direction. I guess he's complaining that she made the tuna and egg salad and didn't ask him what he wanted in it or what he didn't want in it. That's what I get from that. I could be wrong. Though there is that same old, you see the word? Processed ham and packaged smoked salmon, food of the blacks, in the fridge, along with 5 Parmesan cheeses. Now, to be fair, when you look in the documents, you type in black or blacks, a lot of what comes up is dealing with Leon Black. Leon Black. So again, to be fair, is he talking about the blacks in the sense of Leon Black, or is he talking about the blacks in the sense of this is black folks' food, I don't want that garbage? That's black folk food. We don't eat that. You decide. You decide. Then we go here, you see her name. How you say it? Karna. And then you type her name on Google, of course, and supposed to be his last girlfriend that he left a substantial amount of money to. So that's the conversation he's having with her. So we got that. Let me close this stuff out because we have a lot to cover. Now, this is from him, a conversation he's having with Joska Bach. Joska Bach. And I'm not going to read all of this. You see it's pretty long. You can go look it up for yourself if you want to read it, or you can just pause it. I give you a second right there, so you can pause it. But I do want to go back up here. And if we go, where is it? It's talking about IQ. Let's keep that in mind. You see it says Jews tend to be intellectually independent. So you see the context of it, talking about different, what we call races of people, Europeans, the Chinese. Some thoughts I meant to send back for a long time. Right? No worry, if I understand correctly, you are suggesting there are layers 1 through N. So we're going to read all that. We just want to jump down. And then conjecture that changing the time correlations, you got to excuse me because they don't use the best grammar. For these people to be so smart and wise, they do not use the best grammar. And it says, by genetic switch or other method, you might be able to make blacks smarter by changing the time for motor layer development and changing the time for other layers. This is talking about something on a biological, level, dealing with the brain, dealing with the psyche and many different things, and turning certain things on and off in regards to the cells and your DNA to make black people smarter. Obviously, they didn't think too highly of black folks, especially when they were hunting us. I'm just saying, again, we're building a case. We're building a case because I'm going to show you some things that you probably haven't heard anywhere else, which makes me unique to who I'm called to be. Then it says something interesting right here. You can take it for what it says. It says each neuron and each layer would get different. Then he says, basically off yourself if you are not being used instructions. Is that in reference to the cells, or is that in reference to them using that to get somebody to off themselves? course, context is everything. You can pause and you can read it for yourself. Then again, he says exactly, of course, he's responding to something that Epstein said. I looked up the statistics. Black kids in the U.S. have slower cognitive development and never catch up, which a study, of course, attributed to social factors without any evidence, and they have faster motor development. He's, excited about that. So this is a study they're doing. This is something that they're looking into in regards to DNA with cells and being able to basically manipulate these cells. And you see he's talking about black folks once again. And we know that America and the world has a history of doing experiments on us. I'm just saying. In response to everything he says, because right here he says, I suspect gender differences are mostly motivational, i.e. we have a reward system for all the different social and cognitive needs. Talks about women and everything. You can pause it and read it again. And then you see this is how he responds. Gender difference, unlikely motivational. Every cell is different. Size is different. Then he goes on and speaks about how he views it. The point is, you see talking about blacks, making blacks smarter, doing these different things, and how in the U.S., the studies show that allegedly we have slower cognitive development, but we have faster motor development, yet our cognitive development never catches up to white folks' cognitive development, and that's from some other stuff that I looked at in regards to what they were talking about. Okay, so we got that. Let's go over here. This one was very, very interesting. So this is go back up so y'all can see it. United States of America versus Ghislaine, how you say her name? Maxwell. Y'all know who this is. Now, her attorneys make an argument that her Sixth Amendment was violated. Now, okay, she can make an argument, but the thing is how they tried to argue. You go here, you type in blacks, and then you hit the button. It tells you, with respect to the first element, there can be no serious dispute that blacks and Hispanics are distinctive groups in the community. A claim of underrepresentation of those groups thus satisfies the first element of a fair cross-section claim. Now you may say, I don't understand this. What does this mean? Let's make it simple. We put it in AI. AI is going to break it down to make it simple for all of us to understand. You can go read it for yourself to confirm it. I've done that. Her argument, which is her attorney, on behalf of Maxwell, is that the indictment against her should be dismissed because it violated her Sixth Amendment right to a grand jury drawn from a fair cross-section of the community. So here's the core of the argument in plain terms. The government used the wrong grand jury pool. According to the memorandum, Maxwell was indicted by a grand jury drawn from the White Plains Division, not the Manhattan Division. You may say, okay, what's the significance of that? Because they were wanting to use black and Hispanic people to try to get her off. Did that sink in? These people don't like black folks, obviously. But they were wanting to use black folks and Hispanic folks, black and brown, as we say, to get her off on her crimes that she committed. It's crazy. Then it goes on to say, but the alleged crimes occurred in Manhattan. The case would be tried in Manhattan. The only specific location referenced in the indictment was Epstein's Manhattan residence. So her lawyers argued that the grand jury should have been drawn from Manhattan residents, not White Plains. So why that matters? The racial composition. Interesting. Her attorneys argue that the White Plains jury pool had significantly fewer black and Hispanic jurors than the Manhattan jury pool. Hold on now. This is an actual document, court document. And her argument is that, hey, y'all should have tried me in Manhattan because the crimes that y'all say that I committed, they happen in Manhattan. And therefore, I should have had a jury pool that had more black and Hispanic people. What happened was it was mostly white folks. They rely on statistical analysis. Manhattan eligible juror population, 20.9% black and 28.1% Hispanic that was eligible. With White Plains, because the population doesn't have high numbers of black and Hispanic that are eligible, because White Plains is probably mostly white, predominantly white, it was only 8.8% black and 10.5% Hispanic. That's a large disparity. They argue this means black and Hispanic residents were systematically underrepresented in the grand jury that indicted her. They basically tried to use race. This is racism. Y'all are keeping the blacks and Hispanics out of this case, and it's not right, so you should dismiss it. I'm not making this up. It's right here. They rely on the Supreme Court case Durden v. Missouri, which requires 3 things to prove a Sixth Amendment violation. Obviously, she didn't prove it, and then they try to bring up the COVID argument and stuff like that. You can pause it and read it. We're not going to do all that, but we're good on here. The bottom line claim, they conclude the government's decision to use a White Plains grand jury resulted in systematic racial underrepresentation, violated her Sixth Amendment right. Therefore, the indictment should be dismissed. Imagine that. Imagine that. Y'all make sure y'all share this video. I usually don't have to tell y'all that, but I'm telling you. So we got that. Let's go over here. So this is to him from JNS News, the actual editor. It's nothing too serious. It's just the things that they were sending him. The subject is lightning bolt for Israel, no sunshine for BDS, and pro-Israel outreach to blacks. I found that interesting because, of course, the foundation of what we are speaking about is how did the Epstein files primarily affect people that look like myself, and what does it say about us? These are the things that I found. Somebody else may find some more stuff. They may find some better stuff. They may be able to expound on it better than I'm doing it. I'm just bringing it to light so you can get some light on what's really going on. Again, pro-Israel outreach to blacks. Now, if you go down, again, this is sent to him. Sent to him. Outreach to black community becoming a staple in pro-Israel advocacy. Now, we know, because we've seen the videos, they didn't say Hamas. They didn't say Iran. They didn't say any of these Muslim nations were the greatest threat to Israel as a state. Who did they say was the greatest threat? If y'all remember. For those who don't know, they said young black Americans. Young black American men, specifically, males. The reason why it's not old blacks, because a lot of older blacks are set in their ways because they're brainwashed through the black church. Black History Month is marked each February, but reaching out to the African American community has become a year-round endeavor for pro-Israel and interfaith-minded organizations. Interesting, interfaith. We know that's code word for one world religion, new world order. Such efforts serve to combat anti-Israel groups' aggressive courtship of minority communities to support the pro-Palestine narrative. So they want you to believe it's about they're supporting pro-Palestine. We don't want them to support them. These organizations prey on the ignorance of the minority communities like they don't, by offering one side of the story that often showcases Israel dishonestly and thus in the poorest light. supporters of BDS try to export the anti-Israel reasoning to minority associations by appropriating the successful struggle against real apartheid in South Africa, said David Walker. At the same time, Pew Research Center data echoes the historical trend of Black Christian support for Israel. Imagine that. Like I told y'all. Oh, like I told y'all. You know what I told y'all. If you don't, then think about it. Black Christians tend to be pro-Israel, if only in the biblical and spiritual sense. That's because most black folks don't have an understanding, a biblical or spiritual sense of who Israel really is. Ask the right questions, get the right answers. In fact, I think my next video is going to be on that. I don't know if y'all seen it. That Tucker Carlson interview with Mike Huckabee. Whoo! So it goes on to say, in-depth knowledge about modern day Israel or Middle East politics is not common in the black church. It's not common. Read it one more time. In-depth knowledge about modern day Israel or Middle East politics is not common in the black church. It's not spoken about like that. Therefore, because it's not spoken about and black pastors avoid it, and they are bought, most of them, if not all of them, they can be easily influenced. And then the people can be easily influenced to, like bring up a scripture that says, I will bless them that bless you and curse them that curse you. Not understanding the context of that. And who he was speaking to. Who we call the father of faith. Oh, so the blessings come through faith. Because that's what he says also in the book of Hebrews. By faith, because faith, Abraham believed. The Most High preached the gospel to Abraham. Interesting. We got that. Here go another one. So he's talking about I think he's talking about his island. His island in the storm that had hit during this time period, and it was just chaos. So this is kind of long, right? So we're not going to read all this because you see, it says, I don't know whether you also acquired the Greater St. James Island last year, and talk about U.S. Virgin Islands, talking about the hurricane and stuff that hit in that time period, and the damage and stuff that was going on. So just want you to get the context of that. And then you go up. It says, thank you. As you undoubtedly noticed, there's a standard script for reports of looting, describing white people as requisitioning supplies in an emergency, and describing non-white people as looters, especially if they're at the jewelry store and not the supermarket. So again, it goes on and on. You can read it, but this is what Epstein says. Blacks turn into chimps. It's amazing to see. So he's there on the islands, the Caribbean islands and Virgin Islands and the different islands over there, right? During the storm, and it's crazy. It was crazy. And these black folks, they turn straight chimps because that's what they believe we are. The interesting thing about that is this. They teach that mankind evolved from chimps. But if mankind evolved from chimps, primates, and then they say that we are chimps and we are primates, then wouldn't that mean that white folks still came from us? Like, you're not making any sense. Even when you try to use racist rhetoric, you still end up looking stupid. If black people are chimps, we are the original mates, or we evolved from them. But then they teach that all mankind evolved from chimps, and you're still saying that you evolved from us. I'm just saying. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong now. That's what they teach though, right? But we know what this language is about right here. So we got that. This is a text message chain. So, he's talking to him. This is Epstein right here responding. We want to go down. You can pause it and read it. He sends him a book. Did you receive it? Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Where is it at? So they talked, right? Says, my boy, is your island property okay? Nope. I'm so sorry. Don't worry. Did you see that David Tang died? My boy, just wondering how you are. This is Epstein's response. Dealing with blacks and hurricanes. Not a great combo. They give you the context of him saying blacks turn into chimps. Blimey, I can imagine it's a nightmare. Oh, it's a nightmare dealing with the black folks and hurricanes. We know that he's mostly talking about it's a nightmare dealing with the blacks. Because, that's not a great combo according to Epstein. Continuing on. Another conversation that he has. Where are you today? Rome, Milan? I like it. So this person sent some pictures. If I'm not mistaken, these are provocative pictures just based on the context. 10 minutes more, she's trying to talk to him. Now, after I can't, 5 more minutes, I'm on the phone, sending more pictures. Obviously, you're sending those pictures, you get the context, like, hey, what we gonna do? So you go down, and then you can read into it. This is the way my dog sleeps. Is she sending pictures of her dog, or is she sending pictures of herself in a doggy type of pose? Right? Looks familiar. You may say, well, no, this is nothing sexual. Okay. Ha ha ha. Looking at that photo reminds me, did you get laser? So this is going to explain it. Question mark. Jeffrey, have you got Alzheimer? I don't remember if I do. I confirm it to you then. Who are you? I can't do the laser during summer because I can't take sun on my skin ×3. Did you get your stuff lasered? So you know what type of picture she's sending. Then it gets a little bit weird. I'm the girl who you. So is he really confused? Did he lose track of the conversations? I'm trying to see the dates. Okay, so it's the same day. 10:59, 11:01, 11:03, 11:03, 11:03. So maybe he's playing. Maybe he's playing. Which is why he says, "Who are you?" Then it gets a little bit more weird. Again, she says, "I'm the girl who you." Did she actually do it? We don't know, but I'm not going to use that type of language if I'm speaking to my wife or somebody that I'm intimate with. Then he says, are you the black one? Are you the black girl that you know what me? I'm sorry, I think you are speaking to the wrong person. I don't rape, I almost said it, they have flagged. I don't grape people. Effing blacks. Then he snaps back into it. Thank God. Oh, thank God you're not the black one that allegedly raped Jeffrey Epstein. Very, very interesting conversation. Because again, she says, I'm sorry, I think you are speaking to the wrong person. I don't grape people. Effing blacks. I'm sorry it happened to you. What a terrible experience. So obviously when she's saying this, she's joking. She whatever happened, it was aggressive. But she's not realizing that according to Jeffrey, he did have that happen to him, and it was by somebody black. Now, was it a male or female? And the reason I say that, because of some of the other documents. Then she says again, I'm sorry, I think you are speaking to the wrong person. So now she's like, whoa, what's going on? I don't do that to people, the effing black. Basically, the black people do that. But you're talking to Jeffrey Epstein, who, then he says, thank God. I'm so sorry it happened to you. What a terrible experience. I must be suffering from post-traumatic sex disorder. I know what you were talking about. It happened to me once with a 62 years old. Hopefully not black. You have all my support. So you see the conversation get serious, like, hey, I know what you're talking about. I know what it's like. I had to happen to me by a dude that was 62 years old. Okay? Hopefully not black. Hopefully not black what? That the 62-year-old who took advantage of you wasn't black or what? But again, you see the context of the conversation. You see what they are saying. You see what they think about us. Like, black folks are the only people who have ever done that to people. Or like we are the majority of the people that do it when, according to the stats, that's simply not the truth. So the conversation goes on top of what she sent some more pictures. Obviously, you can get the context of that, of what pictures she's sending. Now, we go here. This is sent this date to Dr. Henry, and it's called Perception. So that was that message, but if you go back, let me go down some. So you got all this right here. I'm not going to read all of it, but you can pause it. So this is from Stephen Gross, right? To Steve. The subject is perception. In Washington, D.C., I don't know why they have these symbols and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of times it's throughout the documents. I'm like, is this like code, or is it just that so much files that it got messed up? In Washington, D.C., at a metro station on a cold January morning in 2007, this man with a violin played 6 Bach pieces for about 45 minutes. So during that time, approximately 2,000 people went through the station, most of them on their way to work. After about 3 minutes, a middle-aged man noticed that there was a musician playing. He slowed his pace and stopped for a few seconds, and then he hurried on to meet his schedule. So it goes on and on and on, and it basically, this is an experiment they said that was being done. And then it's right here, it says, no one knew this, but the violinist was Joshua Bell, one of the greatest musicians in the world. He played one of the most intricate pieces ever written, with a violin worth $3.5 million. 2 days before, Joshua Bell sold out a theater in Boston where the seats averaged $200 each to sit and listen to him play the same music. This is a true story. Joshua Bell playing incognito in the D.C. metro station was organized by the Washington Post as part of a social experiment about perception, taste, and people. I'm assuming it says, and priorities. You got the context. Now, when we go back up, this is Jeffrey's response. You will also note that the experiment was done in Washington, D.C., the highest percentage of blacks in America. Then he says, but quality is obvious. Everyone recognizes it, no? Jeffrey Epstein's tone is obviously a racist, condescending tone. That black people, because this experiment happened in Washington, D.C., which has a high percentage of blacks in America, that what? That we don't have the right perception to understand what's going on. We can't perceive that this is the Joshua Bell. We don't have good taste. and our priorities are jacked up to realize what was going on. So let's see who this Joshua Bell actually is, because I've never seen him. Black people don't have taste to realize that this is Joshua Bell with a $3.5 million violin to stop their day and listen to him play because their priorities are jacked up. I'm not saying our priorities aren't jacked up, but if he's sitting there playing this Joshua Bell, he ain't my priority. Don't care if he was the most popular, if he is the most popular violinist in the world. Don't care. I got other things to concern myself with. You playing? Okay, cool. I wouldn't pay $200 to come hear you play anyway. I'm just being real. But according to Mr. Epstein, we don't recognize quality. Our perception is messed up when it comes to seeing who that was. Again, you get the point. Let's go to our next point. To Jeffrey Epstein from Jess Staley. You want to know why we are not Sao Paulo, which is in Brazil? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip blacks and hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z. Interesting conversation. That they are not, their group is not Sao Paulo. Sao, how you say it? You know, I don't speak the language. Because of this. Because of what's being pushed. The hip blacks with the hip cars, with the white women they taking over. And this is why. They should be in the streets. Instead of, you know what I'm saying, doing all this other stuff. I ain't saying that we should be doing this. But you get the point with that. So who is Jess Staley? Who is Jess Staley? Jess Staley is an American banker and the former group chief executive of Barclays. He spent 34 years at JP Morgan's Chase. Interesting. Yeah, he spent 34 years at JP Morgan's investment bank. After moving to Blue Mountain Capital in 2013, Staley became CEO of Barclays in December 2015. This high-level CEO is saying, you want to know why we are not Sao Paulo? You want to know why we aren't like what they're doing? Like we want to do what they're doing? Because of these niggas, basically. So what's a good country to move to if this one picks a reality show host as president? Obviously, this is in reference to President Donald Trump. Many countries pick military radio hosts, etc. It would be okay. Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about if they get Donald Trump in office. It's gonna be okay. Then they respond with, this is his response. Did you hear that Canada's immigration website just crashed due to heavy visitor traffic? What was Epstein's response to that? Did this website crash because of heavy visitor traffic? They don't take blacks. Of course, you can see the obvious racial undertones to what he's saying. I'm just saying. Again, we are building the case little by little. The next thing we do is we go over here. This was a very, very interesting one. It says, let me see if I go down, is there anything else? Okay. So this is interesting. A very counterintuitive report by Milken Institute's chief economist, Ross DeVoe, arguing that there would be a corporate recovery driven by massive tech expenditure. Hence your whatever, y'all see it right there. And feeding of overseas markets. So he says, just what you were telling me. Basically, Jeffrey Epstein told Landon Thomas this, and then it was confirmed by this study that Landon Thomas came across. And then Jeffrey Epstein responds with, unemployment and unemployable education is misdirected, should be concentrated on training of Job skills, trigonometry is yesterday's news, navigating social sites. Like, they don't take, like, grammar is terrible. Like, why you don't take the time to just, whatever. Creating new ways of lending. These are skills the urban underclass needs, healthcare needs, European history. They need to be taught European history. Who? Primarily. How to factor a quadratic equation is still required of the young blacks. Train them on the computer use, electronic music. Parenting can be done with technology. Parenting can be done with technology. They don't want you to, parent your children. They don't want you to be hands-on with it. They want you to let technology do it. These young blacks. The original message from Jeffrey Epstein says, fun. Did you find me a new assistant or wife yet? She responds with, what's wrong with the 3 assistants you have? I thought you are never getting married. There are too many blacks at the Isle de France. There are no black locals, just black rock and roll New Yorkers as guests. It's very weird. This island has no history of plantations and no ghettos. Just big fat black people on the beach. Take it for how you want it. Now I want to bring up this guy right here because throughout the documents, he sends these reading materials, different reading material. You see it says Greg Brown's weekend reading and other things. So you're going to see this a lot throughout the document. We're not going to bring it up. But what's interesting is a lot of it has documents in regards to race. A lot of it has documents and reading material in regards to black people. Here's another message from Jeffrey. Says, one big problem that in China is how to maintain good relationship with the employees. Chinese emphasize courtesy and face saving. This has to do with China's culture. Being courteous to government officials and employees are essential. Chinese people are hospitable, but it is easy to insult them, like blacks who don't want to be dissed. This craziness is accentuated in the North, which has complex rules of face saving. I will send someone to you this week for a coffee that will explain some of this. So, it's crazy that the blacks don't like to be dissed, just like it's crazy the Chinese don't like to be, dissed or insulted. This craziness, according to them, is crazy. But if we turn around and diss them, then it's a problem. Now, here's a very, very, very interesting one. This is from Lawrence Cross to Jeffrey Epstein, of course. It says, hi, been a busy and productive week here in Phoenix. I head home tomorrow for a day and then am back for another week. One bureaucratic hassle. Apparently, the university automatically acknowledges people who give gifts in excess of $1 million by making them members of something called the Leadership Society. And they put their names up on some wall, etc. The whatever automatic system has kicked in with Deborah and Leon Black. Is this okay? If not, we have to find a way of saying that the blacks are not interested. Again, it's not talking about the blacks in the sense of us. It's talking about the blacks in regards to Leon Black. See you soon with Noam. Our Extinctions workshop was incredibly interesting. So you know me, I'm like, okay. What Extinctions workshop? And why was it incredibly interesting? The next logical thing to do, the next wise thing to do is go find out. So that's what I did. Arizona State University. Arizona State University. Lawrence Cross, right? A workshop. The Ethics of Deliberate Extinction Project Summary. Say what? The ethics of deliberate extinction. By doing what? Oh. Genome editing technologies provide methods that could be used to alter wild populations of organisms and therefore, in principle, whole species. Now, of course, they're not going to say people, but you get the point. Now, what I find so interesting about this, and some of this is probably ringing a bell to y'all, is what have we been prophesying and preaching and teaching for years and years and years and years and years, especially when it comes to the mark of the beast? DNA manipulation. And we know that gene or genome editing is central to DNA manipulation. So let's bring it all together. Lance Cross attends a workshop at the Arizona State University that is supposed to be on, or not supposed to, but it is on, the ethics of deliberate extinction. He tells Epstein that it was incredibly interesting, a person that don't like black folks like that. And then we add on the fact that historically they have been trying to eradicate us and have been doing everything they can do to commit eugenics and genocide. And yet, going back here, genome editing technologies for deliberate extinction. Huh. I could just be speaking on the conspiracy level. I mean, y'all tell me. But do you think it's a possibility for them to fathom or think in their mind that they're going to use genome editing technologies to deliberately cause the extinction of a certain group of people that don't look like them or think like they do a lot of times? You know, I'm just saying. So we can get a better understanding. We simply, put it in AI to help us out to get a better understanding. I know some people tell you, oh, AI don't use AI, whatever. You don't use AI. We're going to use it. And we're going to use it to our advantage, just like we're doing. So it summarizes what this is. It says, here's a clear summary of the deliberate extinction workshop held at Arizona State University. Nothing that we're making up. The Deliberate Extinction Workshop was a scholarly meeting that took place May 6 to 7, 2024 at Arizona State University. It brought together researchers from philosophy, biology, environmental ethics, conservation, and related fields to explore a provocative and emerging issue, whether modern genome editing technologies could, in principle, be used to deliberately drive entire species to extinction, and if so, whether that could ever be ethically justified. You basically, when you got enough sense, you know what they're saying. They can't come out and say it in a workshop like this, but it's about, hey, is this ethical to do this? Because they know what it's going to lead to. Using it to deliberately drive our entire species of people into extinction. They do it under the guise of, this worm or this invasive plant or whatever, blase, blase. This is just a, weird message. He sends an image and then they say, what is that? Me exercising with 1,000 blacks in Africa. And then they say, I got a different picture, one of some lady in a pink costume. Now, Jeffrey Epstein was supposed to send a picture that was him exercising with 1,000 blacks in Africa. Is that code word for something? Or was he actually working out exercising with 1,000 black people? Because getting 1,000 black people in one picture, I don't know. I'm just presenting evidence. Was he really in Africa? We know he was in Africa, but was this particular message really talking about him actually exercising, like working out with 1,000 blacks in Africa? I don't know. You tell me. Remember I brought the dude that was sending reading material to Epstein? This is one of the things that was sent to Epstein. one of the many articles that was sent to Epstein in regards to blacks and prison population and the people committing crimes and a whole bunch of stuff. I couldn't go through all of it, but I'm just making a point. 1.5 million missing black men. So the article goes on to talk about in New York, almost 120,000 black men between the ages of 25 and 54 are missing from everyday life. It says they are missing largely because of early deaths or because they are behind bars. Remarkably, black women who are 25 to 54 and not in jail outnumber black men in that category by 1.5 million. African American men have long been more likely to be locked up and more likely to die young. So you get the point. This is just, again, one of many articles that guy showed you was named Brown, sent to not only Epstein, but others for part of their reading material. Let that sink in. Sneaky dog. I have homework for biology science to make a report about how racial differences in genetic effects, they're going to genetics things again, effects for complex diseases. I can talk about specific disease. I know you are very knowledgeable about genetics and biology stuff. Oh, really? Mr. Epstein is very knowledgeable about genetics and biology stuff, which would mean that using genetics to eliminate a entire species would very well be interesting to Jeffrey Epstein and the person he was talking to. Because he's into that stuff for not the right reasons. Then they say, do you have any interesting ideas or links that I could use? Sickle cell for blacks or Tay-Sachs for Jews. Oh, so you're studying this, huh? Why are you studying it so much? Are you studying it so you can cure sickle cell disease? Are you studying it to help the cause, to bring light to it? Or are you studying different things for other reasons? I'm just saying, we see the evidence of how he thought about black folks, how he thinks about black folks, if you still believe he's alive. This is also a very, very, very interesting one. I had to really process this because I'm like, what? Huh? Okay, so it looks, I'm going to break it down for you. The person sends this email, and then this is his response. We don't know what was said before that. Obviously, there was a conversation said before that, but we don't have that conversation. Therefore, we have to put the pieces together. The person says, and the reason why it may not make sense is because of the dates, but it's a time zone difference. I just want you to know that this person says this, and this is his response. So don't get confused by the dates and time. I'm going to read it in regular English, not this broken, supposed to be intelligent, but they can't complete full sentences when they're typing. I thought the Industrial Revolution brought prosperity and competition and led to World War I, Britain versus Germany. Banks did well. During the Industrial Revolution, the U.S. was coming out of the silver and gold depression. I am not as smart as you, but this is what I remember reading. His response is fascinating, to say the least. Yes, the same will happen with China and places that do not have blacks. Huh? Hold on now. Hold on. That doesn't make any sense. Say what? Let's break it down. They ask this question. Jeffrey responds. So let's break down Jeffrey's response. He's saying, yes, the Industrial Revolution did bring prosperity. It did bring competition. It did lead to World War I. It did lead to Britain versus Germany. It did lead to banks doing well during that Industrial Revolution period. And it did lead to the U.S. coming out of the silver and gold depression. It did lead to that. And the same thing is going to happen with China, meaning that China is going to have an industrial revolution that brings prosperity, competition, and leads to a war. That means they want war. And the banks are going to do well. We're going to make more money. Not only in China, but places that do not have blacks. Say what? Why would it matter if the blacks are there or not? They're saying that they want these different things to happen because it leads to basically them making more money through war and the banks and stuff like that. That's what they want. But it's harder for them to do that because of the blacks in these different areas that don't allow it. Why would... Let's continue on, because what I did was I took this and I put it in AI to help us to get a better understanding, because you obviously see the racial undertones. They want war. They want nation against nation. They want banks to do well through these different things because it puts more money in their pocket. But it's hard to do it when you got blacks, because China don't have blacks like that in other places. So because they don't have blacks, then you can have these different types of revolutions and stuff like that. To understand what they're alluding to, we have to look at the exchange. So the earlier message quoted in the thread references the Industrial Revolution, prosperity and competition, Britain versus Germany, banks doing well, World War I, the U.S. coming out of a silver gold depression. Then the reply says, and you see it right there, what is being alluded to. Although the context is brief, here's what it suggests. They are discussing historical economic competition, Britain versus Germany, World War I. The conversation seems to be about how industrialization created economic rivalry, financial power struggles, and eventually war, which is what they want. The reply implies that a similar pattern will happen with China. The phrase, the same will happen with China, suggests economic rise, financial competition, potential geopolitical conflict, possible war, or major instability. The racial reference is being inserted into that economic geopolitical framework. The phrase, places that do not have blacks, introduces race into a discussion about industrialization and global power shifts. Oh, so you saying the black people affect global power shifts? Mr. Epstein, say it ain't so. Because we know that we impact and affect every single thing. But when we say, oh no, it ain't true, y'all exaggerating. This implies they may be suggesting that demographic composition affects economic or geopolitical outcomes. Basically affecting the whole world, the money and everything. Framing China and possibly other countries as ethnically homogeneous compared to Western nations, making a racially charged generalization linking economic decline, instability, or competition to racial demographics. It reads like a deterministic or racialized theory of history. The statement is very short but suggests the writer believes certain demographic conditions correlate with certain political economic outcomes. China and other racially homogeneous societies will follow a similar industrial competition, conflict, path. Why? Because the blacks ain't there. So we can make more money. Because when you got the blacks involved, it's a little bit more complicated. I'm just saying, let's go back to it. Now, we got what AI said, but we wise in the AI because we got the Holy Spirit. Yes, the same what happened, this industrial revolution that brought prosperity and competition and led to war because they want war. Yes, the same thing will happen with China and places that do not have blacks. Seems that they have a fascination with us. And why would we have so much impact on geopolitics and revolutions that change the world if we ain't nobody? What impact do we really have, even being the tail and not the head? The Bible tells us that if their fall, let me get that scripture real fast. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles for to provoke them to jealousy. Now, if the fall of them, the fall of Israel, true Israel, be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles got rich, physically rich, because of our fall, us not being the head and now becoming the tail. Because in the context of that, Deuteronomy 28, he said that if we were obedient, we would be the head and not the tail, and we would lend to nations. So this is speaking about money, finances, economics of it all. Money is involved. How much more their fullness when we come back into our rightful seat through Christ. Not only do we get that position of physical riches, but the world becomes even more rich than what it already is. There's another conversation. You see Steve Bannon. Obama made his money on the backs of his people. They won't like that. So let's see. It says he is now rich and water skiing with the white guys. I will be showing that image over and over. The blacks feel betrayed. Trump made his money in biz Obama as a result of representing them, the poor blacks. They hate that. As soon as he leaves office, Obama's hanging with the rich. You are getting pretty good at this, grasshopper. Then they showed a picture of Obama with Branson. Then it says, my favorite, however, he didn't go back and help his city of Chicago or his people. He vacationed with whites over and over, while murder rate jumped. Attaboy now with Gutso. City should have martial law. You know, Chicago is predominantly black. Oh, the murder rate is up because the blacks are killing everybody, murdering everybody. It's their fault. Trump stays with his team and never looks down on them. Obama tried to be white. What sounds worse, sugar or stress? It's in regards to this article somebody sent to him, and then he says, this relates to blacks. Oh, you ain't got to worry about that. So what is it talking about? High levels of maternal stress and cortisol during the third trimester of pregnancy are linked to lower IQ scores in 7-year-old boys, according to studies from Odense University Hospital and the European Society of Endocrinology, if I said that right. This stress affecting fetal brain development does not appear to affect girls' IQs in the same way, and some studies suggest it may affect brain growth and emotional regulation. Okay, so they're sending that to him, and then he responded. They asked him, like, what do you think about this? Maybe this person was pregnant or whatever. Don't know. And then his response is, this relates to blacks. Basically saying, hey, their IQ is affected by these different things, but that's not what the article is stating. It doesn't say just blacks. It says, speaking about mothers in general. But hey, what do I know? Blacks always underemployed except under Clinton. Unions saw to that since day one. Does the economy pick up without QE3? Again, this is another conversation. So what is QE3? QE3 stands for the third round of quantitative easing from the U.S. Federal Reserve. Of course, this is old. This is back from September 2012. Of course, they're speaking about money, but then they also speak about, hey, the blacks are always unemployed, except under Clinton, and I'm assuming they're blaming the unions, but they also need to be blaming themselves. Point is, you see, they are talking about us, And then we go over here. This is from Jeffrey Epstein to Jean-Luc Brunel. And it says, it will probably be asked, why not retain and incorporate the blacks into the state instead of colonizing them? Deep-rooted prejudices entertained by the whites, 10,000 recollections by the blacks of the injuries they have sustained. Because, we complain so much about the things they have done to us because even though we shouldn't do that, right? We should just keep our mouth shut. New provocations, the real distinctions which nature has made in many other circumstances will divide us into parties and produce convulsions which will probably never end, but in the extermination. Remember, I gave you all the information before, so you got to stay tuned. But in the extermination of the one or the other race, Thomas Jefferson. This is what Jeffrey Epstein sent to his homie, Jean-Luc Brunel. Like, we can't do that because of basically the distinctions between the two people. It's going to be so divided that eventually one race is going to be exterminated. If they have this mindset, then aren't they going to do everything to preserve their race? Which would mean if they need to exterminate as many of the others as possible, or going underground and causing a war, a nuclear war, these different things while they live underground for so many years thinking they're going to escape it. I'm just saying it's right there, y'all. I'm just saying. This is cold right here because he just sent this. Oh, this is a good quote. Obviously, it's a good quote for a reason. So, who is this guy right here? Jean-Luc, whatever his name, was a French model scout and alleged sex trafficker. He gained prominence by leading the international modeling agency Karen Models and founded MC2 Model Management with financing by Jeffrey Epstein, whatever you want to call him. So that's who he is. Not important. Really who he is. I just want you to see that these are actual people, nothing that we're making up. And you're seeing the connection and what they think overall, specifically in regards to black folks. Everybody's addressing everything. Let me address my people for a second, if you don't mind. This is an interview, if I'm not mistaken, and they're talking about some stuff, so this is going to be graphic. I'm not going to read all of it, but just want to get the context of it. There were times while Jeff was, so-and-so, that he pulled her hair, covered her mouth and nose at the same time, and put his hand on her throat. So-and-so thought the act of placing his hand on her throat was more of a threat than actually attempting to strangle her. She did not recall him squeezing her throat. So-and-so did not recall Jeff binding her body during the you-know-what assaults. He never full-on punched her. However, he squeezed her bottom and breast and would yank her nipples to the point the actions were very painful. So-and-so stated, I would have given anything for him to have given me a cocktail again. Obviously, it was so bad that she would rather have had the drugs so she couldn't feel the pain of what was going on. It would have been nice to not have been aware. Now, what's interesting is there was a particular individual that got in trouble for making these different cocktails and taking advantage of people who I also said, and I still believe, is a agent, or at least worked with the CIA. We call him Puff Daddy. I'm just saying. It would have been nice to not have been aware, believing she would continue to be you-know-what and sexually assaulted by Jeff. So-and-so gave in at some point and told him, yes, I'll find some friends. Crazy that this person is being assaulted so much that they're like, look, can you find some friends to join in? You want other people to be brought in to suffer what you're suffering because you're in this situation. That's crazy. Jeff wanted young, fresh meat girls, virgins. He told so-and-so, don't bring me any niggers. Don't bring me any niggers. Even though these girls that he would have brought would have been young, fresh meat black girls that are virgins, Jeff said, don't bring me any niggers. He didn't want none of them. At least in this account. This is an account of somebody joking and jiving to Jeffrey Epstein from Mark L. Epstein. On Monday, I hosted a reception here for about 40 people. 15 were members of the Black Congressional Caucus that came to New York to attend a Humpty Dumpty program at the UN. Yesterday, I told Gene, who was over the house the night before, he said to me, you should have invited me. I would have put on a suit and tie. I know how to handle them. I would have came in and said, hey there, niggers. You remember Gene, the black guy that's worked for me for decades? He said Gene would have went in there and said, hey there, niggers. Playing his part. Juking and driving. Oh, my God. Oh. Subject, stop gun crime. You want to stop gun crime? Ban the niggers. This article is extremely amusing in the sense that it just poses several questions relating to gun control policy, when the author himself is the answer to his own question. More niggers equals more murder, duh. I'm just saying, y'all. Here's another one that is... Now, this one gets graphic, y'all. So this one's not long, so I'm going to read most of it. So-and-so stated that he first met Epstein at approximately age 4 while at the whatever in Rhode Island. So-and-so stated that his family were members of the whatever this is. I don't understand why they blocked this out. I mean, I do, but I want to know what members they were, what group they were a part of. So-and-so stated at the time he was sodomized by his great uncle, so-and-so, and that Epstein was present. So, my bad. Stated at that time he was sodomized, you see the word, by his great uncle, and that Epstein was present and did not touch him. So-and-so stated that after he was, you know what, by his great uncle, Epstein then spoke with him. So-and-so stated he did not know the identity of Epstein until some unspecified time in 2016. So-and-so further stated in substance that while on a large luxury ship that sailed out of the Newport Boat Show in Newport, Rhode Island, September, at approximately 8 years of age, he was subjected to some type of medical exam about the yacht by unknown doctor while his great uncle and family member were present, whoever his other family member is. So-and-so went on to describe a bizarre event in which so-and-so inserted a tape measure in his rectum. So-and-so stated subsequent to the exam, he was then, you see it, sodomized by Jeffrey Epstein, as well as former United States President William J. Clinton, while on a heavy drug-induced state. That cocktail that woman was talking about, or that child or whoever it was. That is crazy. Let me measure your rectum with a tape measure to basically make sure that you can take what we're about to give you. You want to throw up. Oh my God. But we the problem though. We the main problem. So-and-so also stated the bottoms of his feet and back were slashed. So-and-so further stated also during the said yacht trip, multiple unknown male blacks were engaged in sex acts with unknown female whites who had their backs slashed and were bleeding. Huh? So also describe several infants being killed and their intestines removed, as well as other acts of cannibalism. So also stated that former United States President George H.W. Bush engaged in a sex act with an unknown male black. Former United States Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and businessman George Soros were present on the same yacht while all of the aforementioned acts of violence were occurring. So-and-so was then asked if he had an injuries or scars as evidence, to which so-and-so responded, "On my anus." So-and-so was unable to provide any supporting or corroborating evidence or the identities of any witnesses to support his claim of victimization. So he provided names of his family members and stuff like that, saying that they had videos. I believe, this is just me, I believe that these unknown male blacks who were engaged in sex acts with unknown female whites, and obviously they were doing some other stuff with, some ex-presidents. I believe that these black males were probably celebrities or people that's part of what we call the black boule. That's just my take on it. Doing the same rituals that these satanic rituals that these folks are doing. So we're not exempting our own people. We're not going to do that. Now, let's get to the main attraction of why you're here. You've been waiting for this, right? This is also formatted in other ways. This is the one that I could find that popped up when I was doing my research. Subject. Again, this is from the Epstein files. Email correspondence sent between him and others. Snipe hunt is over. Moon crickets in field bags. Guess what? They're niggers. So the moon crickets that are in the field bags are niggers. Now, this may not make sense, but when I break this down to you, you can be like, oh, because people are talking about this. But I haven't seen anybody actually break it down so you can understand what's going on. Okay, so let's get it. The first thing we must do is define, okay, what is a snipe hunt? Just to be fair. So a snipe hunt refers to two distinct activities: a real challenging form of wing shooting for small migratory shorebirds found in wet marshy habitats, or a common practical joke played on newcomers where they are sent into the woods at night with a sack to catch a non-existent creature. We have to be fair. Now, when they are talking about a snipe hunt, are they talking about an actual hunt, or are they talking about a common practical joke? No, because somebody say, well, they're talking, this is a joke. They're joking. It's a practical joke that they played. Okay. So the next thing we must do is we must define what moon crickets are. Because they're saying that they're niggers. Is that true? Okay. Because I never heard of the term moon cricket. This is my first time hearing of moon crickets. But when I looked it up, I said, oh, moon cricket is an extremely offensive, derogatory, and racist slur used against black people, niggers. Primarily in the United States, it is considered a harmful term that draws on historical racism and stereotypes. Are you seeing a pattern? This is why I want to build the case up with the other stuff. So when we got to this, there's no denying what's really going on. So we see that it is a racial slur. Now, what I found very, very interesting and fascinating is this. The exact origin is unclear, but it is often associated with the southeastern United States, One theory suggests it may have originated from a racist misinterpretation of slaves singing at night. Now, if you know your history, you know why we were singing at night. Who were we singing to? We were singing to the Lord. Kumbaya, these different things. We were singing for the Lord to come save us. The term is sometimes used to mock or denigrate individuals based on racial prejudice. From Moon plus Cricket, perhaps a reference to slaves singing songs during the night. A black person, derived from the antebellum colloquial slur for slaves who, weary and working through the night, maintain through chanting and song. Looking back, the term moon cricket was used to belittle the plight of slavery and shroud it in fancy. But couldn't this darkness be reclaimed in the name of resilience and the underlying dedication to the higher power working through us all? But when we see this email exchange, the snipe hunt is over. What are they doing? They are hunting moon crickets. They are hunting niggers. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. It said the moon crickets and niggers are in the field bag. Ask the right questions, get the right answers. What's the field bag when it comes to hunting? This right here, a field bag for carrying deer typically refers to a durable, breathable game bag designed to hold quartered meat or a heavy-duty meat hauling backpack used to transport field-dressed, caped, or quartered deer out of the field. These bags keep meat clean, cool, and protected from insects during transport.
Has carried mature Arkansas bucks out of the woods as much.
Okay, so this is one way of doing it, to carry your game that you killed. Another way of doing it is what? Is to cut it down and then you stick it in this bag. What does that tell you? Let's break it down and bring it all together. If they are hunting blacks, which they are, and then they are putting them in the field bag, the moon crickets in field bag, that means that they're taking the niggers that they hunted and putting them in these bags as a trophy of their kill or organ harvesting or whatever else they're doing. What's AI talking about? We're just saying there's almost certainly coded racist hunting language, not a confirmed count of people literally being hunted on Epstein's property, but it's meant to invoke that idea, we ain't stupid. So it gives you the breakdown, moon crickets, snipe hunt, and then field bag is hunting phrase, a game bag, and the combo in field bag reads like we got our quarry. So as a whole, that subject line is functioning like the hunt is done, the black people are in the bag. That aligns with what some reporting says was in the email body using an explicit slur. Now, to be fair, you could make the argument, or they're talking about the hunt is done, the black people are in the bag, meaning we got them or whoever it is on our side. Just to be fair. Is that what's going on? Or is it the other thing? I believe it could be both. I believe it could be that they literally hunting us, but also using us to fulfill their will, get certain blacks on their side and use the other blacks for whatever purposes that they have going on, which we know what those purposes are. I don't believe it's limited to them doing actual hunts. Cause remember, they talk about the money and stuff like that with China and everything. Like, you know, China's going to be able to do this and do that because of them not having blacks. Seems like they want to get rid of us. That seems to be the central theme, right? So is there a history of black people being hunted? Yes, in the very literal sense of organized manhunt, especially during slavery and its immediate aftermath. During slavery, there were slave patrols and slave catchers whose job was to pursue, capture, and return enslaved people who fled. Dogs were used to track and attack fugitive enslaved people. Slave hounds, Negro dogs appears in historical sources. That's not a snipe hunt prank. It was an enforcement system, but the language of hunting got applied to humans, and that's why that Epstein email wording hit so dark. Where black people hunted as sport and brought back like trophies. This is where we have to be precise. There is strong historical evidence of trophy behavior around anti-black racial terror, especially lynching. Lynching events were sometimes treated like public spectacles. Photos were turned into postcards and items, rope clothing, and in some cases, remains were kept as souvenirs and trophies. We know they took the skin and they did all type of crazy stuff. That does match the trophy idea and the hunting photo vibe, even if it's not literally bagging deer. So it's documented. This is what's going on. They put it in the movies. We know these different things. We just want to bring all the pieces together. Going back to it, snipe hunt is over. The niggas in the field bag. We bag the niggas. All right, so we have covered a lot. I came across the video. I watched some of it, but I haven't watched all of it. And I've seen some of his stuff before. He brings some very, very interesting things to light. What did they find when he did his studies in the files? Let's find out.
So the Epstein files scandal keeps getting darker and darker and more disturbing, and the cover-up is probably the most pathetic and sad cover-up I think I've ever seen in my life. It is definitely amateur hour. This is Bush League stuff. Now they're coming out and saying, that's it. All right, we released everything that we got. We got nothing else, bro. I don't know what you want me to say. It is the definition of what's called a limited hangout. Do yourself a favor and look that up. Look up limited hangout. I believe there's a Wikipedia page on it, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about here. But it's this intelligence tactic where you only give a small percentage of the truth and then pretend like you gave the whole truth, and then that gets everybody to go, okay, I guess we got everything that we have here. You don't. You don't. In fact, where are all the pictures? Where are all the videos? Where's all the talk of the fact that we know Epstein's houses were bugged to the high heavens, which means you have super powerful politicians, you have presidents, you have prime ministers, you have royalty, you have billionaires, you have celebrities on camera doing god-awful things with children. Okay? So, this is just, the Trump regime is collapsing under...
This is why I'm going to speak to my white brothers and sisters right now. This is why I've been telling you what I've been telling you for the last years. The very white people that you keep on supporting, hopefully you don't do that. I'm speaking in general to my white brothers and sisters. Save the lost. The very people that you keep on supporting, that you think actually care about you because they're white, they don't give a damn about you. They don't. They're using you. And you keep on fooling around, you're going to end up in hell just like them looking stupid. Because you want to support them simply because they're white. I don't support black people simply because they're black. That would be stupid. So why would you want to be stupid and support white people simply because they're white, because you have whatever you got going on in your heart and you're going to go to hell being white? Because it's not us that's doing this. Y'all asked for the Epstein file. I wasn't asked for no Epstein file. I was just watching to see how things are going to play out. Let God do his thing. Y'all asked for the files. God allowed the files to be released. And then y'all ain't really focused on what you should be focused on. I'm just saying.
The weight of their own lies. Everybody knows it. Everybody can see it. It is getting embarrassing. Trump's average, his average when it comes to favorability now is 38%. That is historically atrocious just a year in, okay? But guys, I believe, and we're going to get to this in a second here, I believe we may have found some of the worst Epstein files. We may have found some of the worst Epstein files. But first, let me show you this. So, Epstein files, investigation suggests just 2% of data released to the public. So we were under the impression it was about crazy. 50%. And that of that 50%, it was colossally redacted. That's the sense that I got and most of you got. Well, that's wrong. Analysis by Channel 4 News has identified emails within the latest Epstein files that suggest the mountain of information released by the U.S. Department of Justice could amount to just a fraction of the total, potentially just 2% of the information that the FBI retrieved from Epstein's homes. Epstein survivors have told Channel 4 News that they believe that the Trump administration has failed to meet their request to release all the files. And it's not just their request, guys. It is now the law. The Epstein Transparency Act is in effect, and they've missed a whole bunch of deadlines already. They've illegally redacted the perpetrators and the criminals, and they've illegally released the names of some of the victims, and they're in violation of the law on a daily basis, and somebody's got to go to prison for this. Somebody's got to go down. Exactly. I hope the Democrats are listening, and I hope the next time they take power, they spring into action, because
it's not about no damn Democrats and Republicans. Oh my God.
Most important thing is holding these criminals accountable for what they've done. But only 2% of the actual files may have been released. That's astonishing, given what we already know, what we've already seen in the files. Guys, I mean, you've probably seen some of the segments that I've done. We've done maybe 7 or maybe 8 segments on, going through the specifics, when the Epstein emails came out, when batch 1 of the files were released, when batch 2 of the files were released. Based on what we've already seen, we have allegations of cannibalism. We have virtual confirmation of not only rape, but also torture, also murder and manslaughter. That's all in the stuff that we've seen casually being discussed in emails. But let me keep going, because I want you to see this. Reuters says the following. Millions of files related to Jeffrey Epstein suggest the existence of a global criminal enterprise that carried out acts meeting the legal threshold of crimes against humanity. A panel of independent experts appointed by the UN Human Rights Council says. So now they're telling the truth. Now they're telling the truth. And their language is a global criminal enterprise doing crimes against humanity, which sounds very similar to what I've told you. It's a shadow government of moneyed interests, a cabal of pedophile, rapist, billionaire sadists who really run the world and view you and me as subhuman. And I've never been more convinced in my life that class politics is a factual.
I agree with them on that. They view you as subhuman. They use the whole white against you. They're using the term white and white race against you. They don't consider themselves the same as you. And again, it's interesting because he is so-called Jewish. And he is allegedly was a agent, a intelligence agent, a spy of the state of Israel, the very people that we say ain't the people. But y'all say, no, it don't connect back. It ain't got nothing to do with the black folks. Why is it that, and understand what I'm saying when I say this, white folks, why is it that y'all collectively think that you have to make everything about yourself? Everything is not about you. Just tell the truth. Rather it's something dealing with black or rather something dealing with white. I tell the truth. If blacks killing blacks is wrong. If white folk killing black folks and this and that, it's wrong. Wrong is wrong. And at the end of the day, the Most High gonna sort it all out. That's what I'm saying. So we can play these games all we want to. But at the end of the day, the Most High is going to sort it all out, and it's not going to be pretty. What side are you going to be on? Whose side are you really on? It's not about being on the black side. It's about being on the side of righteousness. And it just so happens that Jesus ain't the way that these people have presented him, having people to believe, to cause confusion, while they keep on doing this evil.
Jeffrey Epstein exchanged emails with photographer Antoine Verglas about a drug called scopolamine. According to the emails, it comes from the borrachero tree and a plant called angel's trumpet. Scopolamine starts working within minutes and removes free will, wipes memory, and can even kill. Scopolamine does not show up on toxicology reports due to it only staying in the body for 5 to 6 hours. Epstein had angel's trumpet plants in a nursery. In the email below, you can see where he is asking his worker to check on his angel's trumpet. This is literally what was happening in the movie Blink Twice. So that's interesting because remember the girl, she
said that she would rather have had the cocktail than to, be in her right state of mind. And yet most people still don't get it. They still, all this evil, you would think with all this evil that has been exposed, and here's the crazy thing. Even though this has been exposed, and it is definitely evil, the evil that goes on that's above Epstein is worse than that. There is stuff that goes on in the world that is worse than what Epstein did and what's still going on. Yet people are somewhat outraged by this situation, but they're not outraged enough to turn to the Most High. Because everybody's, Epstein did this and Epstein did that and this celebrity and this president, this and that. What about you? Everybody's so focused on what all these other folks are doing, but they're not looking within themselves. They're not judging themselves and saying, man, it's an evil world. I ain't did that, but I've done some evil in my life. I need to get the evil out of me through the Lord Jesus Christ. Like, really get it out. Like, people aren't doing that. And that's the most concerning thing. That everybody else is focused on everybody else, which is cool. You can see the situation. But the point of the Most High bringing this to light is not so we can point the fingers at the ones that are doing evil, if we ourselves are also doing evil within our own lives. These people, most of these people, they may have professed to be Christian, but we know they don't, Epstein was no Christian or believed in the Messiah or whatever term you want to use. So they know what they're doing. But aren't you just as evil if you're claiming the name of Christ and then you're not living according to the word of Christ? Aren't you going to get the same judgment? I didn't know that, okay, Epstein, let's say he gets in level 1000 of hell, and then you're only in level 5. Your ass is still in hell for eternity. Epstein is in level 1000, you're in level 10. Ooh. That's the point I'm making. God is using this to expose the evil by shining light on darkness, which is what he said he was going to do. But it's not just for you to look and see the Epstein files, this and this and that. When you are doing evil in your life yourself, you may not be doing the evil that they're doing, but you're still on your way to hell, and you're going to end up in the same place as them. And that is sad, and that's the real issue. That's what he has put on my heart to bring forth and to tell you. What you do with it is what you do with it. I ain't going to hell for Epstein. I ain't going to hell for my wife, my children, my mama, my mother-in-law, my daddy. I ain't going to hell for nobody I know. I'm not even going to hell for myself, because the old me is dead and gone. And who you're talking to is the new, born-again believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, believing all truth, not selective truth. With that being said, God bless each and every one of you in Jesus Christ's name. As always, stay focused for Jesus. And as you know, the truth is not debated, it is declared.
Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Really, 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 really do it?
They said did he did it. Yeah, they said did he did it. But I seen it with my own eyes, they all did. Fake friends turn snake when the light hit they scales. Yeah. Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Really, 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 really do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Really, 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 really do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Really, 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 really do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? Did it do it? he talking like a stranger when he mentioned me. Sold out the cool for a blue check flash. Switch codes like a hoe with a high fashion clash. Another one flip when the money came in. Try to take credit for the places I've been. Used to dap up tight, now he throwing me shade. But I'm the one who grew the tree, so who really betrayed? So who really betrayed?
Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Really, 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 really do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Really, 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 really do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Really, 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 really do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Really, 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 really.
Blood thicker, but the water ran tainted. Shared dreams with them, but now they drink the same red water they painted. When I needed hands, they were scrolling online. Now I'm eating with my fam. Chefs, no hands, ain't life such a gold mine? Swore they were friends when they needed my help. God made Moses a god to Pharaoh. Stop swearing on me, I punish. Yeah. Used to pray for every wins, now I pray for peace. Cause snakes shed skins, but the venom don't cease. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it?
Really, 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 really do it.
Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it?
Really, 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 really do it.
Did he do it?
Did he do it?
Did he do it?
Really, 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 really do it.
Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it?
Really, 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 really do it.
They said Diddy did it. Nah, we all did. Everybody sold something at one point in time when the price hit right. But the real ones realized they ain't for sale. Yeah, they did it. And they still doing it. Glory hole wall acting ass, but you the one turning tricks at the glory hole.
Oh,
Did he do it?